Hey guys, a video I want to make for y'all today is a video on the Sovereign Development 12 o'clock mount for the 1/8 times VCOG. So the kind of problem Sovereign Development solved was for the people that own a 1/8 times VCOG, you either only had the option of buying a Unity mount and mounting a 45-degree offset mount, or running the 1/8 times VCOG. Well, really, you can't really 45 one off the right side because that the battery thing's in the way. So what they did is they seen that Trijicon didn't make one, and they decided to make one themselves. And when I talked to Sovereign Development, they said that they made it out of the same aluminum that the VCOG's made out of, which is pretty cool. And it mounted up pretty good. It was a pretty easy install. They also thought about the casting molds on top and bottom, where it kind of has that line. For anybody that has a VCOG, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So I'm glad they thought about that, because the only other option I've been seeing people do was take a 34 millimeter scope mount for a 12 o'clock dot or something and try to drill it out themselves. And so they kind of took that away and made it for the 1/8 times VCOG. So if you're kind of curious on how it installs, we'll roll to the next clip on the installation. So the mounting process, as is for the 1/8 VCOG, is of course you'll need the VCOG, the kit from Sovereign Development, of course the red dot you chose with it, some RMR screws, and something I'm just going to do, blue thread locker for the screws on the mount. So in this kit, it comes with the bottom piece of the mount that has that curvature for the molding. I don't know if you can see it, but it has the molding cast like on the top where it has that groove. They have compensated for that. Comes with the top piece, and of course it comes with 6 screws and even crush washers, and they also included a bit for it. So before I start mounting it, I'm going to make sure I have all these little crush washers on all my screws, and I'm going to make sure to put some blue Loctite on there as well. Alright, now that I got that done, I will put the bottom plate on. Take it and slide it under there, like so. Put the top plate on the correct way, of course. Then I'm going to start threading some screws in. So I got all 6 in there. I'm going to line it up like I want to, mostly level, and then I'm going to tighten down on all these. I know it says the torque to a certain foot-pounds, but to be honest with you, I'm going to ooga-dooga that motherfucker and call it a day. So I got them tightened down like I want to, so I'm just going to add these marks for good measure. Now to mount the RMR. So I forgot to add this in on the part list, but make sure you have a RMR ceiling plate if you choose the RMR. Of course, while you're at it, go ahead and throw in a brand new battery. So I'm going to torque this one down till it feels right, because I hate myself. There it is. And that looks nice. Don't forget to gotta throw in some little witness marks as such. Now I'm ready to mount it to the rifle. So I know everybody's got to address it in their videos, but my only affiliation with Sovereign Development is I was looking for a 12 o'clock mount for my VCOG. And of course, Trijicon doesn't make them for the 1-8s like they do the 1-6. For whatever reason, I don't know. But when I was searching, I came across a Reddit thread that had these guys posting about their product. And so I decided to hop on Reddit and send them a direct message because it's kind of a new product. Or I'm not sure how long it's been out, but it's not really talked about. So when I direct messaged these guys and was talking to them, they tell me more a little bit about the product. And I initially was going to buy it, but they told me if I did a video on it, they would send me one out for free. And so that's kind of where I'm at now with my affiliation with Sovereign Development. So I'd already planned on doing this, but when I talked to Sovereign Development, they told me if I, of course, to include it in the video, but they wanted to know my feedback personally, how they can make their product better. And uh, two things I already want to do right off the bat is um, you could almost, if you can see, this RMR already sits pretty high, and I'm not sure about their other red dot mounts, but for the RMR, you could almost drop this mount 3/8 of an inch, and the bottom of the glass sit at the top of this cap turret. Okay, and then another thing was if they could include RMR screws with it, because the factory RMR screws don't go down as deep, so they kind of do like Ariska does with their longer screws, like for Ariska's offset 45-degree RMR mount. So another thing I want to throw out there that I think would be cool to do was to make this mount piece, but also make this top piece right here where you could change uh, whichever red dot mount you want to put on it. Kind of like what Badger 1 does with their 12 o'clock mounts for their LPVO mounts. Like I said, I don't know how, maybe make this a little wider where you can change the top piece and have two beveled flat top screws. And because I know these mounts ain't particularly cheap, but it give you a way to buy the mount to the VCOG and then change the top dot mount if you want to change to something else instead of having to buy a whole new mount for the scope. So I kind of wanted to show, if you're down on it, let me flip the cap. If you're down on it and you're looking through your VCOG, this, you have to switch up like this, look to the dot. So I think dropping it almost 3/8 of an inch would help a lot, because that's pretty high already. You have to drop like this and then switch up to use the RMR. So it's kind of what it looks like. So I don't have the best setup to try and zero, but I'm going to try and get it close before I start shooting with it. Be nice to put ear pro on. I'll go check that out. So on this target, I was trying to aim here, and I was hitting way down here. But with how tall that optic is, I want to at least be able to aim here and hit 2 inches low, or maybe inch low, I don't know, just because of how high it is. I want to try and set it where it's not dead on at the, I think it's like 40 or 50 yards I'm zeroing it at. Okay, so thankfully when I was going to zero it, it was perfectly up and down, or side to side, however you say it. It was direct middle. It was just too low. I had to bring it up, and it took me 4 tries. The second time I adjusted it, I went too high and had to come back down. And so I got it kind of where I want it. It took about 20 clicks on the RMR up to get it kind of where, right there, almost at dead on at, I'd say it's probably about 40 yards. And that concludes today's video, y'all. Thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you happen to buy a VCOG mount, you can use the code word 843ARMS, no caps and letters, everything lowercase, and get you a free night vision shroud for a Petzl Vertex helmet or a Protec skate helmet. I put some images on the screen as an example, but that is 843ARMS, no spaces, no caps, just 843ARMS.